This is the Kel-Tec RDB. Now, the Kel-Tec RDB is a very well-known rifle in the United States and Canada. It's been around for quite a while. However, in the US, it's kind of seen as it's a budget bullpup. AR-15s are quite cheap, but maybe you want a bullpup, and they're a lot cheaper than the MDR, and they're a lot cheaper than the Tvors and all that. And the same is true in Canada. However, the RDB has received, after May 2020, a larger focus on the Canadian gun world. And that's because it is one of the more popular semi-auto rifles that is still legal. However, should it be popular? Is it a good rifle to have in Canada? Well, I have quite a few thoughts on that. Of course, this is not a long-term durability review because there are plenty of those, right? This rifle has been around a long time, right? So this one is more on the RDB in the Canadian market. Now, with that said, there is still some durability in this. So, first of all, the way that this rifle is configured is not the way that it comes, right? This handguard, I'm borrowing this rifle from a friend. This handguard is aftermarket. It is not the Kel-Tec one. I do not remember the name of this. You can go look it up. We got Forta shift, and of course we're using LAR mags. Now, and a Feyachi. I had a Feyachi V30, and then I had AR Covenant LPVO. Now, overall, straight up front, I do not like this rifle. I don't like using this rifle. The look of this rifle is actually really nice. I really like the look of the rifle. I hate using it, and that's for a few reasons. So, first of all, the balance of the rifle with a red dot is very nice. However, with an LPVO on it, I just don't like it at all. It feels way too front heavy for what it is, and that's with everything in the back, which really doesn't make sense. But the balance with an LPVO, and I tried a Bushnell and the AR Covenant, I don't like it. The fire controls are great, right? They're ambi on both sides. You have your bolt drop on both sides. Now, the charging handle can be put to both sides, but you have to set it. Obviously, as a right-hand shooter, I have it on the left. The charging handle I do actually quite like, especially because you can HK slap it. But that's about where... Oh, and of course, the trigger. The trigger is, for bullpup, is very nice. But that's where the positives end for me. So, this thing gets absurdly hot. Now, I have done, mag dumps on the WKs, on the Ravens, on all of the PCCs, on the Type 81s. None of them got anywhere near as hot as this damn rifle. This thing, if you put more than 30 rounds through it, and you touch the wrong thing, you're going to literally burn yourself. Now, that is why I put the Fortis grip on this. When I was first trying this rifle when a friend brought it to the range, I put a Magpul, was the BCM Gunfighter. It's either BCM Gunfighter or Magpul MVG. But either way, I had my hand right here, and that meant I was constantly touching the gas block and these damn screws, which get extraordinarily hot. As well, this screw here and here and this get extraordinarily hot. So it doesn't matter where you're touching. Like, if you're being safe, you are potentially burning yourself. I had one instance where I finished a string of shots, and I picked it up off the table because I thought it had cooled down. I touched this, and instinctively, I did something incredibly unsafe. And it's like I dropped it in a way that was very unsafe, but because I literally almost burned myself. It is just ridiculously hot. The Fortis Shift allows me to avoid that entirely, as I can just do this, so I don't have to worry about it. But that shouldn't be something that happens with a rifle. Now, I know the stock handguard wouldn't have that happen, so if it's a stock handguard, alright, but still, it is... I don't like it. The length of pull, for me, I have large-ish reach, right? I'm on a 18-inch handguard. My grip is almost always very much towards the front. Not at the very front, but like 2 or 3 M-lock slots back. And the length of pull on this is just not good enough. Like, I'm constantly choked up on it. For reference, holding it like this, I could go and reach out over here for my comfortable grip. All the way out here, which obviously I can't. So length of pull, if you have long arms, this is not an ideal rifle. I guess specifically if you have long arms and you like to utilize your entire length of pull. The mag release can be good. Now, it's designed in such a way that you can bump it with the back of your hand and drop the mag, which is great if you're on empty, right? But if you have, in Canada, if you have these coupled cross mags, you don't want to dump the entire thing if you have mags on the other side of it that are coupled, which would be very common if you're doing any kind of sport shooting. So you have to, which I can't really do on a bullpup on camera here, but you have to, push back like this, which is fine, but it's awkward. Now, the other thing is the ejection, which obviously it makes sense that the rounds get ejected from back here, since the bolt is traveling back this way. But if you have the proper grip, and you'll notice it in one of the shooting strings, I believe the one with the red dot, you'll notice that my arm, my support arm, or not my support arm, my firing arm, I'm having to constantly, I can't really show this on camera, I'm having to constantly move it because the hot brass is hitting me in the arm. So if you're wearing short sleeves, this is a terrible gun to use if you're used to not chicken winging. So you kind of have to chicken wing with this thing, which is very strange for modern rifles, right? Because pistol gripped rifles, you're supposed to keep yourself in. It's only traditional rifles or rifle stocks that you can chicken wing, or you should be chicken winging. But yeah, that was not great. The bolt release here is actually okay. Using this bolt stop here is terrible if you're trying to lock the bolt open, so it's better to just use the HK style lock open. Now, I did find that pressing this down to drop the bolt was actually quite nice. It is very intuitive. Using this charging handle to charge sucks. That's not great. The best way, in my opinion, is to just leave it open. When you're ready to shoot again, put your mag in, slap it down, and then until you're done, use this. When you're done, put it back up to the open position. Don't leave it like an AR and just leave the bolt open. With this, I think it's better to just have a visual cue, because the other reason, it's hard to check, or it's more difficult to check your chamber and everything else in a bullpup. Now, this is not unique to this gun specifically. There are other bullpups that have this issue, but Unlike a traditional rifle where you can, rack the side or the top charging handle and you can look into the bolt or into the chamber very easily to confirm it's clear, this one you really can't. Like, you have to literally turn it upside down and you have to try and see into it, which is very strange. I don't like that at all. So, again, after all of my complaining about this rifle, what is the purpose of this rifle in Canada? Now, the way that you have this set up with this handguard, you can find them from anywhere between $1,500 and $1,900. Of course, you can find it for more, but those are just price gougers. And for that money, I can't recommend it. I really can't recommend it. Yes, it's a shorter overall package than, say, a Raven, and I would recommend this over a WK-180. I wouldn't recommend it over an MCR. I wouldn't recommend it over an R18 or Raven. I would definitely recommend this over a BCL. But honestly, this gun is closer to a BCL and a 180 than it is a Raven or an R18. And that's because Kel-Tec still have reliability problems. Now, this gun, I put about 200-ish rounds through it, but my friend has put over 800 to 1,000 rounds through it before that. And he got it from someone else that put many rounds through it before that. And when I was testing, shit broke. We thought it was just a gas system issue because it was very dirty. I cleaned it out, brought it to the range the next time, and it just wouldn't work. This thing right now is a single action rifle, or bolt action rifle, rather. Or a straight pull rifle, I should say. And it's likely a gas ring issue, because it has something to do with the gas system. It's not feeding properly. Now, he'll get that fixed. And the reason that I mentioned that last is because I don't think anyone should buy this rifle in Canada. I think if you're going to spend money on a Kel-Tec, on a semi-auto Kel-Tec, honestly, just get the SU-16. It's way cheaper than the RDB, and you will have the same reliability as with this, because it's still a Kel-Tec. So just buy the SU-16 if you're looking to save money on a semi-auto 5.56. If you're going to spend a bit more on a 5.56, avoid this, avoid the WK, maybe get an MCR if you want. It still has piston issues, but it's a bit more reliable than a WK. And just save up for a Raven, for an R18, for a Tavor, for basically anything. Or if you want a 7.62x39 route, again, you could go SKS with the 10-round XCR mag insert, or you could go Type 81. There's a lot of different routes to go. I just can't recommend this in Canada. It's, of course, if you're used to bullpups, then a lot of these complaints you can get around, especially with the control aspect of it. And as bullpups go, it has a lot of really good things, especially the trigger. The trigger is really good for a bullpup. But, man, it's just not a rifle I enjoy shooting. That is it for today. Thank you very much for watching. I will have one more review coming up soon. That will be the T&W ASR, so keep an eye out for that. If you like the video, like, subscribe, comment whatever your thoughts on bullpups or the RDB. I'd be interested to hear. And have a good day.